it works in retirement. When your paycheck stops at work
Hmm.
and then you go home,
Hmm.
how does the money get from those 401ks, IRAs? A lot of people have pensions, I know, or maybe it's other investments. How does it get into their bank accounts?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a great question. It's interesting. So for financial advisors, it's something that an advisor maybe goes through on a daily, certainly a weekly basis, explaining to people who've never done it before how that works.
Right.
But to your point, I mean, you brought out the tools. You can't go down to the local store necessarily, in your case, the Home Depot, and purchase a product that shows you, well, this is how you get money out of your retirement accounts, and you get it
Exactly.
from there into your, checking account, frankly. I mean, most people would, you
Hmm.
could send it multiple places, but let's just use checking account as an example, because that's where most people's funds are coming into when they're
Because
working.
then we pay the bills out of those.
Yeah, exactly. So you're paying the bill out of it. So,
Yeah.
so how do I get it from, point A, because now I've made this transition from I was employed, I got a paycheck, they withheld taxes. I knew exactly how much I could spend after tax on a monthly basis, and people would budget around that, and they'd budget certainly payments for homes and cars and kids' educations
Groceries,
and vacations and utilities, and
power.
all of it came out
Yeah.
of that. And then suddenly you transition into retirement and the check stops, but you still need the income. And,
Right.
what we'll see people doing all the time, and there's a lot of marketing around this idea of, and I won't get into why we don't like it so much, because they're using these buzzwords, guaranteed income for life, because it's something people are going to gravitate towards. Now, unfortunately, most of those people are selling products called annuities, which, by the way, isn't something that we do, but I understand the principle of somebody sitting there, they've retired, they hear, okay, now I need to guarantee myself an income for the rest of my life. That seems to at least verbally solve that problem of, all right, well, I had income, now I don't have income. So if I make this phone call, they're going to show me how to get the income. And so we do spend time, and frankly, people, it's understandable if they don't know how to get the money from their retirement accounts that they've been adding money to for the past 20, 30, 40 years back into their checking account so they can actually spend it, because they've never done it before. They've never had to do it before. Frankly, the government would penalize you if you tried to do it prior to the age of 59 and a half, because there's a penalty on taking distributions from retirement accounts early. So if you look at all of that, it was just something that people avoid until they retire. Then all of a sudden they're retired and they're going, well, great, I made it to the finish line. If retirement's the finish line for you, but now how do I live off of my money for the rest of my life? And how does it get from point A to point B? So the way that it actually works for most people is going to be maybe your retirement account is a 401k or an IRA or a TSP, 403b, some kind of an account that you haven't paid tax on yet. A lot of people are going to have Roth accounts. So these are accounts where you paid tax on before the money went in. Now you don't have to pay tax on the distributions or money you take out. You don't have to pay taxes on growth. Or maybe you've just set money aside in accounts, things like individual accounts, joint accounts, trust accounts. All of this goes into the process. And so I think what people need to realize is, first of all, there is a process from getting it from your account, right, one of those three accounts, into your bank account. And that's just a distribution from whoever's holding the money. It's an ACH, basically a funds transfer from whoever's holding the money into your checking account. And you can elect to have them withhold taxes. Sometimes it's mandatory, sometimes it's not, but most people would go ahead and elect to have them withhold taxes. So the first hurdle is, well, how much do you withhold in tax? You want to work with a financial advisor that can help you determine how much you want to withhold in tax. Nobody wants a big tax bill at the end of the year. Nobody wants to be penalized for not paying quarterly taxes. So that's something that an investment advisor could help with, saying, all right, well, to get the money from this retirement account into your checking account, this is how we set up that connection between the two, and this is how much we can withhold.
Now let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Does this mean that the day it comes out, I have to do whatever Because I know there's custodians like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, I think is one.
Yeah, those are just a few custodians.
Do they pick the date,
No,
or
so
do
the client or the investor can pick the date. So you could say, well, I want to get it at the first of the month, or I want to get it on the 10th of the month, or the middle, or the end
or
of the
the
month.
whenever I used to get paid all the time before?
Yeah, you could set it up as once a month. You could set it up as twice a month. And so it's very, very flexible with most of the companies that have the assets. Not all are going to be as flexible, but I'd say for the most part, as long as you understand how to structure it, you structure that connection between the retirement account and then your bank account at work. And then it starts to get more complicated. And I don't want to confuse people, but I do want people to be educated. There's different types of money. So again, if you have a 401k or an IRA or a TSP account or a 403b, these are all accounts where you haven't been taxed on it yet. So every time you make a withdrawal, Uncle Sam's going to look at that as ordinary income, meaning it's taxed at the highest tax bracket potentially.
Okay.
So that's going to be of concern. So when you start this income planning, you want to be as tax efficient as you can. So, well, which account do I pull from first? Do I pull it out of my account that is going to be taxed as ordinary income that I've never paid tax on before? Do I pull it out of my Roth account that I'm not going to be taxed on? Do I pull it out of my joint account or my trust account that depending on how it's been invested, is going to be taxed differently? And so, I mean, these are the types of things that we can help people with. But yeah, I understand the confusion.
Well, that's interesting to know that you can even pick, when it's put in the account and how much, but it's better to know because thank you for letting us know how it works. It's like your micro, but
Well,
you're
it can
not.
be a little bit different every time, but the principles are for the most part the same, right?
But now we know that having a true financial advisor, a fiduciary, like you and the rest of the team at Talon Wealth happens to be, and if it's not somebody at Talon Wealth, someone should be doing that for you if you have an advisor, should be helping you and walking you through that process.
Yeah, I mean, typically if you have an advisor, that advisor is being compensated to be your advisor. And this should be a part of that relationship. It shouldn't be just, well, hey, I invest your money, don't talk to me about anything else. It's like, well, no, you invest my money. Can you help me not just with the investments, but can you or your staff assist with things like paperwork? I mean, it's who wants to have to call the custodian and get the paperwork and do this and do that? I mean, there's a service side to the industry too, which is.
And this is part of it.
Yeah, it should be a part of it. I mean, if somebody, you mentioned a few custodians, companies like Fidelity or Charles Schwab. If you looked at those documents, let's just say your money was at Charles Schwab or Fidelity, you had never seen the document that is set up to roll your money over from a 401k to an IRA, or never seen the documents set up to that are designed to set up the connection between your bank account, and it might be confusing to you, right? It's a few pages of stuff you've probably never seen before. So investment advisors can help with that. It's not overly complicated. Just know that there is a process. The process should include establishing the link between the money you've set aside for retirement with whatever account you want it to go into so you can pay your bills. But it should go a little bit further. How much should you be pulling out on a monthly basis or annual basis? What should you be withholding for tax? And those are the types of questions that an investment advisor should be to answer for you and help you out with along the way.
And hopefully you watching, listening today, that was at least a tip for you to better understand the mechanics of how it works, and know that if you do need a resource to ask some more questions, just head on over to our website, guardingyournestegg.com. See you next week, guys.
See you next week.
Thank you for watching. Go to guardingyournestegg.com for your free and objective personal financial plan.